Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf and weekly download episode number 134. Yeah, this is a completely new set for the ZTT channel. As you guys may or may not know, I promised that I would start live streaming at 50,000 subscribers. We actually just hit 48,000 last night. So as you can see, I'm trying to prep my studio to get ready for live streaming. So just before we get into the tech and PC gaming news for the week, just wanted to give you a quick little tour that this is now my gaming setup, and then back there is my editing and creativity setup. So I tried to separate them just so I could always have a ready to rock live streaming setup right here. So this is what it's starting to look like. This is still my 4K Sony camera. So this isn't what I'm going to be using for live stream. I'm actually going to be using a webcam. So I just didn't want the quality of weekly download to look so bad. So I'm still using the real camera, but I'm just messing around with the live streaming setup. This is kind of what it's going to look like. I like how you can see my computer right here. I got my dual screen monitors right here. The HyperX Quadcast right here, which hopefully sounds decent enough. I definitely need to go in there and tweak some settings. But yeah, this is going to be the set for weekly downloads. So on today's episode, I'm going to be playing some Pagan Online. When I give you this news, I'm actually super addicted to this game right now. I got my jug of water right here. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section what you're sipping on. Let's get into it. Before we get into it though, let me quickly introduce the sponsor of today's video, Dev Mountain. Dev Mountain is a 13-week class for all of you aspiring iOS and web developers out there. Their 13-week class focuses on providing you only the skills that you actually need to go out there and start your new career in coding. They don't waste time with a filler curriculum like at a traditional college. They also feature student housing at no extra cost, a variety of different classes including UX design and QA testing, and most importantly, all of this is available at an affordable price. Head on down to that first link in the description to learn more if you're interested in getting that quick boost you need to start your new career in coding and design. To kick off the tech news for the week, you've all probably seen by now that the Nvidia GTX 1650s have launched, and they are getting some pretty awful reviews by some other tech YouTubers. According to them, because I decided to not pick this one up for myself, the results they are getting really aren't worth the price considering the value of the RX 570 and even the value of the RX 580 when it goes on sale, and at $150, it's kind of looking like a pointless product. Either way, like I said, I don't think you're going to be seeing the GTX 1650 on my channel because the work has already been done by some other guys, and I just don't think there's much demand for this card. Speaking of another card that may not get a lot of demand, we are now seeing the first leaks about an upcoming GTX 1650 Ti version, and I don't anticipate Nvidia turning things around for this one either. The leaks that we got this week are basically just indicating that the 1650 Ti is indeed an actual thing, and we don't even have the specs yet, so I'm not going to waste any more time on that. Switching over to some Intel news, the company's 2018 through 2021 roadmap leaked out, and although there are some exciting aspects to it, it's kind of scary just how far Intel is falling behind on their 10nm project. According to this data, Intel is going to continue hammering the 14nm architecture over the next couple of years, and it doesn't look like we'll get 10nm anytime soon for desktop processors. This is pretty interesting considering that we are about to see AMD's 7nm chips, but always remember that Intel's bigger 10nm is probably still on par with AMD's 7, but we shall wait and see on that one. Speaking of AMD though, the much anticipated Ryzen 5 3400G and Ryzen 3 3200G APU specs were just leaked, and this one actually looks pretty solid. I think I just reported last week that these APUs won't actually be on the latest 7nm chip, and instead it'll be based on the 12nm Zen Plus architecture. According to the source of this leak, the 3200G can be overclocked up to 4.3 GHz with 1.38 volts, and the 3400G can get up to 4.25 GHz as well. Either way, it's looking like these new APUs will be a decent bump up in performance from the current generation. Probably not worth upgrading if you already have an APU, but these will still be very popular options for 2019 in my opinion. Getting into some laptop news, Razer announced their new Razer Blade 15 and Blade Pro 17, which are now featuring the upgraded 9th generation Intel CPUs and of course some RTX graphics chips. These laptops are always looking super fresh, and I actually do want one, but unfortunately they are always way out of the price range of what I personally want to spend on a gaming laptop. The Razer Blade 15 is upgraded to a 6-core i7, which is actually pretty interesting, and the Blade Pro 17 is rocking the same CPU but with the RTX RTX 2080 Max-Q graphics chip. Pretty baller. And to wrap up the tech news for the week, I just wanted to quickly report that mouse support is now finally coming to the iPad lineups with iOS 13, but there is a small caveat to that. A ton of iPad owners out there, especially the ones that spent a fortune on the iPad Pros, have been desperately waiting for this announcement, but in my opinion, at the end of the day, the caveat is still that these iPads are still rocking a mobile operating system. The mouse support that's coming isn't actually true mouse support, as it's an accessibility feature which needs to be enabled, and I just don't think there will be that much of an advantage because of the operating system. Getting into our short lineup of PC gaming news for the week, Tim Sweeney from Epic Games promised this week that if Valve matched the Epic Games revenue split of money to the developers, they would stop this madness of exclusives on the Epic Store. If you don't already know, Valve is currently taking a 30% cut on the profits for most games on Steam, and since Epic is only taking a 12% cut, that's why we've been seeing all of these exclusives all of a sudden. It's a pretty bold move to pretty much give Valve an ultimatum, but it sounds like Epic Games realizes that their store is just so far behind Steam, and they're doing this for the good of PC gaming, I guess. I don't know, maybe they have some extra motives that I'm not aware of, but it would be really nice to stop these exclusives so I can play more of my games on Steam. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section. Moving on to our weekly dose of WoW Classic news, last week we went all crazy because we saw that the Classic demo would be hitting their content delivery network. Well, it turns out that this was just an internal beta test for only Blizzard employees. This is still excellent news that the game is at least in a playable state for employees, but man, I really cannot wait to play this game. And to wrap up the PC gaming news for the week, by the time this video goes live, the Avengers Endgame movie will have already been seen by millions of people, and Fortnite is starting up a fun collaboration event as well. There's a ton of new things to check out, such as Thanos and some cosmetic outfits, and apparently they'll be releasing more of the outfits in the next couple of weeks. Well, that wraps up weekly download episode number 134. I definitely want to know what your guys' thoughts are about this whole live streaming setup, set type thing. I think this is going to be my actual set for weekly download as well. I think it's like more personable. You guys get to, it's more not scripted, but at the same time, I want weekly download to be quick. So I'm not going to ramble as much as I've been today. But yeah, definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. After that, feel free to head on over to, I wasn't prepared. I think, yeah, one of these two videos if you haven't seen them yet, and definitely hit that subscribe button because coming up next, another gaming PC build guide. You don't want to miss that video.